Hey everybody!
Hi everybody, welcome back to HEALTH3. Thanks for tuning back in with me. This episode's super exciting because we're going to finish the painting we started last time. I'm doing an ocean wave on the beach, and it's just something that I like to do in my spare time. I feel like it really does help keep you healthy mentally to occupy your evening hours with something that's not physically demanding, thus giving your body time to rejuvenate and still get some relaxation in, but also keeping your mind stimulated and doing something that brings you joy so that you can wake up tomorrow happy about yesterday and excited about the day. So we only got about halfway, and today I'm going to add the chaos and adventure of the foam, and I'm excited to get this painting done with you guys. So next episode we're going to be focusing highly on fitness. As a matter of fact, in the upcoming season it is time to shed our winter coats, and I'm excited to do that with you. But in the meantime, it's still a little bit cold outside, so my mental health focus is painting today. And why I say that's mental health is because, once again, you're giving yourself joy, you're being productive, you're not just sitting on the couch eating or watching Netflix and telling yourself I shouldn't be doing this. So it's definitely a positive thing to keep occupied and be productive in the hours that you should be relaxing and rejuvenating. So find your hobby or your art that you love to do, beading, knitting, crocheting, whatever helps you relax but keeps your mind occupied and gives you results tomorrow to be proud of. It's amazing. So I have found in HEALTH3, if you live by that program where you have your fitness, your nutrition, and your mental health all rounded and balanced throughout each and every day. And that's what HEALTH3 is all about, is the daily application of health focus and what you do in your personal health, and sharing it with everybody else as well, because it also gives you a lot of positive energy to affect those around you and influence them positively. So that's what we're doing here on BCAT today. We're going to finish that painting. I'm excited to get it done, you guys. Here we go.
A nice color for the sand. I like a nice reddish sand, like you're on a Hawaiian beach. To me, it just really goes well. If you put a little bit of red into your sand, it'll blend in nicely with the violet tones that we put in the sky. So I'm coming out with this really nice, well, that might be a little too red, so I'll add a little bit more yellow till I get what I want. See, I like this sand here, but in my opinion, I think it's a little too yellow. And it doesn't have to be a consistent color either. You can put more yellow on that side and more red on that side, and then take that base color and just work that down. And another little trick, now that the sky's somewhat flip that upside down, and just get our sand painted on real quick. It's okay to leave some white canvas coming through right here, because we will be using our spreader to add some foam up on top of it. So it's totally fine to just leave that how it is. Right now I am super happy with the depth, dimension, and colors of the sand. So I'm gonna flip her back right side up. And we now have a very nice base for the sand. Also doing good with having all the sky drying, so if you wanted to come through and do any more blending into the sky, now is a good time to do that. Adding any highlights into the sky too. So I'm going to ditch my sand brush because I'm super happy with that, and we are not going to need any more brown. And that's why I only use that on a tiny little bit of making a mess here. But I have a ton of plates here. Don't ever be shy about supplies. You should have plenty on hand so that if you start to get frustrated and feel like your piece is going downhill, just get a new plate and freshen your water, rinse your brushes, come back to it. Don't keep going in frustration. That's how you can ruin hours of your life that you work so hard on. So right now I'm really happy I've got my waves coming in. I didn't spend a whole lot of time detailing things yet because we don't know where the foam's gonna go yet. We're gonna let it tell us where it wants to go. I do want to take some more water though. So I'm gonna get my big brush, my tapered brush that I like so much. Add a nice rich blue, a little bit of white. And we're just going to come down a little bit higher with this wave just to make it to where you like it. I'm going to take a little white and add some highlights on the top here where the sun potentially would be hitting the top of that wave. Pull it down into the blue. And you want to blend it in with that blue because we need the really white stuff to come through in the foam. And just let the brush strokes pull those colors down. Now the fun part. So now that you have all the blues in, we have a lot of exposed canvas that just show a lot of white. And it's so easy. We're just going to fill that in with white. We're going to grab a round brush. It's nice and plush and soft. We're going to use a lot of soft brush, obviously using a lot of soft brushes today because we're doing water. And we don't need a lot of fine lines and details with a hard brush. So I'm going to grab a nice soft round brush, three-dimensionally round. Taking some pure white. It's okay if you're using the white that has a little bit of blue. And we're just going to make sure that what we're going to get is that of water foam splashes. So I'm testing that out on my paper plate. You can grab a clean one. I think I'm definitely going to grab a clean plate because we need some pretty pure white for the seafoam. So basically you want to make sure that you're going to get that. I'm not really getting at this one with this brush, so I'm going to choose a different one. A little bit of a smaller round brush till I'm happy with it. You want to be happy with it. That I'm happy with. So what? Just a tiny bit of water because you don't want your paint too thick for this part. Our thicker portions that we do will be later on with our spatula. So right now we're just filling in all of these white things with random water and just work with what's going on here. And I'm just gonna hug all of these little dark moments with some splashes. And don't worry, I know that looks crazy right now, but you're gonna get something cool by the end of it. And I mean, make it what you want for now. I just want to make sure that there's paint on the canvas so that we have something later to blend with. And I'm going to come back to the beginning of the waves here. And I'm just putting in these more profound motions of the water, just kind of cresting up and over. And that. crazy with it. Have fun. We're having fun. This is definitely something you do to unwind at the end of a long day. Your body's too sore. You don't want to work out, but you do need to be productive because honestly, sitting around watching TV is not my forte. I want to keep this rounding motion of the waves, so I'm going to go round, up, and blend it back down. Just like that. Perfect. Now I have a nice motion to work with. Take a little bit of blue and water. And add some dimension. All right. Can add some shadows in there with some darker stuff. Add some chaos. So we can go through then later. Later, I should say now. Yeah, we want this nice and dark in the tunnel here. There we go. Sprinkle a little bit of blue. Okay, so we've got all of our canvas covered essentially with paint. So now it's time to really bring out the artist in yourself. Here's where we go. We have a great foundation and a great set of tools, and I have some isolated white so that I don't get too much contamination with other colors, but I still have my paletted color available to still touch up and make it what I want. So this is the part where you just get free with it and make it beautiful. And work with the strokes that you have. It's not going to look like what you have here, and that's the point of painting. You never want to have two of the same thing, right? Who's going to buy the same duplicated painting? Otherwise, you could just buy a print. So I have my spatula here that I like to use, but we're going to get to that very last because it's going to leave big, thick layers of paint behind that you don't want to smear or leave. You want to leave them very uninterrupted. So I'm going to take a really fine brush here, super fine tipped brush. I hope it focuses for you. And I'm going to get it nice and wet. And I'm going to make a little puddle of water here and use the white and make sure that my lines are as fine as I want them on my plate before I go and hit the canvas, because I'm going to start pretty far back in the background here because it's the most forgiving. And any of these lighter spots, I just want to barely brush my stroke over that. And you're just giving your water some roughness. It's a rough day on the water. All of those light spots, we're just going to go in and just barely brush over. Let the brush do the stuff for you, but make sure you know what it's going to do before you go all in on it. So we're going to highlight those whites. And if you notice, when you highlight the whiter spots here, it magically folds a wave over into a dark shadow. didn't pay a lot of attention to the fold of this wave because I wanted to put some waves behind it first. So you want to work your way forward in situations like that. So why focus a lot on the detail there when you know you're about to cover it up anyway? So I'm just going to continue what I was doing, but I grabbed the bigger brush now because I'm a little more focused. I'm a little closer. Now my finer brush I use off in the distance to create a distance in the finer thing. So now that I'm getting up closer, I want my waves to look a lot bigger to create that depth. And I'm just giving a nice, first I'll brush upward to give the shape of it, and then I'll come back down and give the detail by just pulling the brush then back downward again. And these will give those distant waves their detail, coming crashing down behind my wave before I go and I put all the detail into this. So now that I've done that, super simple and easy, I'm gonna take some black with that same brush and a lot of blue. I still have a lot of the white on there from doing the details. So I get this really kind of like grayed out version of blue. It's just gonna give you more of a definition to this wave that is going to come up down. Okay, and I'm going to take a really disturbed fan brush. I like, I've got several. There's several different kinds. You can get one of the finer ones for layers of leaves, but they also have these disturbed ones. The disturbed fan brush is one of my favorites. Take some of your white with no water, and you'll be able to really draw some waves down out, some layers of water. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to really take a nice big generous amount of white, pure white, and just blot that on with my brush, disturbed fan brush. Okay, once you get the white on there, we're going to switch to the spatula if you have one. This is so fun. This part we're just going to use to kind of smash that into place and make it look like water. And this is so easy to do. Don't be intimidated by it. You can mess up, see, and just take some, put it over here, and really get a good chaotic, it's water foam. There's no right or wrong. And you just step back and look. One thing I do always recommend about painting is always take a step back. Take a step back here and there. Make sure you're getting the right look that you're going for. And bring a little curl down this way. And drag upward. Once you drag it upward to get the shape, then you can make it look how you want along the way. got a little more blue in my white for this one in the back here. So we're going to let that curl down on over in kind of the same type chaotic motion where we get the shape we want. We're just not going to curl as far because this one hasn't crashed onto the ocean yet. So we're going to come out this way instead. I hope you are very happy with things that have happened in your evening today with me, or morning, or whatever time you're viewing. The magic of technology at your convenience. Okay, I'm very happy with what's going on here. The only thing I have left is getting the sand to look like it's meeting the water a little bit more peacefully, because as you can see here, it looks slightly unfinished. In our finished product, I did flip this upside down and basically do the same thing, but with those crisscross, how we went one side that way and one side that way, I do still see in my eye those crisscross lines. So as weird as it sounds, we're actually going to use those corner points that we had for a little of more organized chaos to bring the water in kind of a crisscross motion onto the beach. And once I get it into those crisscross spots, then you use it scraping that way toward the wave. And just scrape up toward the wave. And then back down again in the crossword motion. And follow that cross line that we had. And what that's going to do, and if you don't have enough paint, is take your wave a direction onto the sand. So it looks like it's pulling itself off of it, off the sand. Just pulling away from the sand. And into a wave motion, and then some of it's meeting itself back down onto the sand. And there you have it. So another fun thing that I like about this is because of it's kind of a foundation piece. You can work with the color scheme, you can work with the depth, you can add clouds into your sky if you want. You can add foliage into the foreground. I actually did have a message when I showed one of my friends what I was going to be doing today. They said, well, what if we did a little, how do you do a leaf, or how would you do foliage here in the foreground? So if you were looking off onto a beach and you saw this type of thing, but you were, say, in a hammock, you would see maybe some palm leaves or something coming down into the foreground I don't have on this painting. But if you'd like to see any more with me, stay tuned, because on future episodes I'll be painting a little more detailed paintings with some foliage, and we can learn how to do flower petals and leaves together, trees, and all kinds of fun stuff. I personally watch a lot of Bob Ross, so if you want to watch a super pro, definitely tune into him. He's got all kinds of resources out there, and I use YouTube a lot too. So paint away, folks. I'm self-taught. It's not hard. You don't have to be good at it. I had a lot of fun here with you tonight, and I hope you had fun with me as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you all impress yourself today and do something wonderful for yourself. I love you. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey everybody.